What's going on, guys? Welcome back. Today we're going to talk about the World War I spark. What kicked this all off? So we've discussed the causes of World War I. We talked about how there were four main causes: militarism, alliances, imperialism, and nationalism. And I want you to think of those kind of like a firework on the 4th of July. If you just sit that firework down on the ground and don't do anything to it, it's just going to sit there. All right, it's just waiting to be charged so that it can explode, right? Today, we're going to look at what lit that fuse that eventually burned up until all four of those things combusted, much like a firework on the 4th of July. All right, so the spark that begins World War I. Now, to start off, we need to look at a country known as Austria-Hungary. Austria-Hungary is its own country, right? But there is a portion of Austria-Hungary that has been imperialized. That is known as Bosnia, right? So this is an example of imperialism. And again, just an example of how one of those four main causes can be seen. And so Bosnia lets it be known that Bosnia says that they don't want to be part of Austria-Hungary. All right, they let it be known we don't want to be part of this country anymore. We want to be part of another European country, Serbia, that thinks more like we do, that has people from the same ethnic background that we do. And so with Bosnia not wanting to be part of the country anymore, that leads to the Archduke, who is the next in line to be king. He is the next person in line to be the king of Austria-Hungary, Archduke Franz Ferdinand. And Franz Ferdinand believes that he can fix the problem. He thinks that he can win the people over. And so Franz Ferdinand travels into Bosnia, right? Travels into Bosnia, and everyone knows that he is on his way. And so while he's planning this trip, so meanwhile, while all of that is going on, there is a terrorist group at work known as the Black Hand. All right, the Black Hand and they are a terrorist organization or a terrorist group. Now, the Black Hand tries to use terror to get Bosnia out of Austria-Hungary. And so the Black Hand reaches out to a poor individual. He's a young kid, a sad young kid. He's poor, named Gavrilo Princip. And offer him a large amount of money to assassinate the Archduke. His job is to kill Franz Ferdinand. His job is to assassinate Franz Ferdinand. And so what happens is he waits and he waits and he waits, and Franz Ferdinand presents himself. He goes, he shoots, and that equals Franz Ferdinand dying. Franz Ferdinand is now dead. And so what happens is, as a result of all that, so that leads to Austria-Hungary declares war on Bosnia. Well, Bosnia is small, Austria-Hungary is big. Serbia says we're going to join to make it a more fair fight, right? To make it more fair, we're going to join. Well, Austria-Hungary says, well, it's 2-on-1, so we're going to reach out to our friend Germany to join the fight with us. And Serbia says, well, we're still the only large country in this, so we're going to reach out to Russia. Because that way, it's two large countries versus two large countries and a territory. Well, Germany says, hold up, well, we should get a territory. And they reach out to the Ottoman Empire. And now, Austria-Hungary says, okay, it's two countries and a territory versus two countries and a territory. Well, Russia says, our territory is not as big as your territory. So they reach out to France. And Austria-Hungary says, wait a minute, that's not fair. We need Italy, who has an agreement with Germany. And France says, well, we'll reach out to Great Britain. And then it comes back to Italy, because Italy says, well, maybe we're not going to join. But what you see is countries keep jumping in and jumping in and jumping in, all because of alliances. Alliances emerge. And not only that, these countries want to show off their new weapons, so alliances and militarism. The threat of force, because they have these new weapons that they want to try because of the Industrial Revolution. And then eventually it becomes just a pride thing, a nationalistic thing. We have to prove that we're better. And so going back to our metaphor, what you see as a result is that you have a firework. Now, I can't draw very well. You all know this. So it's really just going to be a big arrow. Right? You have a firework. Okay? That firework has a fuse. Well, it's just sitting there dormant. Nothing's happening because no one has lit the fuse. But once that fuse is lit, it starts to burn all the way down until it's set off. Well, this spark that lit the fuse, that's the assassination. The assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand is the spark that lit the firework that caused World War One. Because again, had the assassination never taken place, had Bosnia not felt that they were better than Austria-Hungary and didn't need to be a part of Austria-Hungary anymore, had Austria-Hungary never imperialized Bosnia, had all of these secret alliances never been in place, maybe World War One is not so large and not so big. Maybe it is just one country versus another. Maybe if the pride of Austria-Hungary and just let Bosnia join Serbia like they wanted to, maybe you avoid the assassination, and maybe you avoid World War One altogether. But that didn't work. It didn't fit with their nationalistic pride. They believed that they were better than Serbia, and therefore they should rule over Bosnia. So World War One starts. One assassination by one teenage kid. Gavrilo Princip, a teenager, starts World War One because he assassinated the Archduke, the next in line, the next person to be the king of Austria-Hungary. And then all of these other countries join in. And next thing you know, you have a war of global scale in multiple continents that takes place. We're going to stop here for today. Reach out to me if you have any questions about this. You do have an assignment to do that goes along with the assassination. Let me know if something doesn't make sense, if you need any help. And as always, have a great day.